Hey, Sonny here. Today I want to go ahead and start on the lesson, the real lesson for Little Jack Horny. I did a video the other day. I'll show you what the guitar sounds like playing along with the original music. So now we're going to break it down into section. Before we do that, I want you to know that the original tuning, my guitar is tuned to the original recording, which is a drop D tuning, and then you got drop down half step. So basically, it's C sharp, A flat, D flat, G flat, B flat, and E flat. Okay, so here's how the intro goes. So that intro is all harmonics. We'll start from the 9th fret harmonic. Now when I say 9th fret harmonic, you actually you put your finger lightly between the 9th and 10th fret on the wire. It's slightly touching the string, and you pick it. As soon as you pick the string, you lift your finger up and you get that harmonic. And the harder you pick, the quicker you release your hand, the better the harmonic. So the beginning part is 9th fret, 5 and 7, and then 7 on the A and 7 on the D. I use my ring finger, start from the 9th fret on the E, right? Index finger on the 5th fret on the E, and then middle finger again. Ring finger on the 7th fret on the E. And while your ring finger's at it, you do the 7th fret of A and D. Now remember, you got to do it between the frets on top of the wire. Sometimes you might have to slightly move just a little behind the wire to get the harmonic, but you just you work it out. You can play along with it. So again, so far with this, and you do the same thing again. 9, E5, E7, A7, D7, back to A7, and then G5, and then D4. Okay, so far with this. Okay, next part. You do the exact same thing I just did. Basically, you do that twice. And after that, you go 4th fret on the E. Now, remember, this is actually, I know I call it E note on the E string because that is the low E string, but I was already dropped down to C sharp. But I'm still calling it the E string, low E string. So on the low E string, you hit 4th fret on the, and the 5th fret on the A, and 5th fret on the D. So I use my index finger and then my middle finger on the last two harmonics. And you index finger again on the 4th fret on the A string, and the 5th fret on the D. Okay, so after we play the A4 and D5, and you play the 12th fret on G, and then you go A5, D5, and A5 again. And then A4, D5, A4. And then E5. And the next part, you E5, A5, D5, and back to A5. And then B5 and G5. And then B7 and G7. So that's the whole thing. So so that whole second section goes like this. Let me show you one more time the whole thing slowly from the top, the whole intro. All right, the next riff is a little more difficult. It has a shovel feel to it, so the shovel feel is a little difficult. So you think about it, the normal, if you do 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, that's the normal feel. The shovel feel, you gotta. So instead of chung 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 gung chung gung chung gung chung gung, you go chung chung gung chung gung chung gung chung gung. So again, so that's like shovel feel. All right. So here's how the riff goes. The first section of it. Okay. So what I do is the first thing is open E string twice, and the 3rd fret on the E, and open E string again. Actually, I use my middle finger on the 3rd fret on the E, and the 2nd fret on the A string, pull off an open string, and then 3rd fret again on the E and open E. So. And then A3 and A2. The next part, you're gonna play the 2nd fret on the A, hammer on and pull off on the 3rd fret. Continue to pull off an open string, and the 3rd fret on the E picket, and the open E string picket. So far with this. Okay, next part, you gotta let it pause a second, and then it goes. So it's open E, 3rd fret on the E, open E string again, and then 2nd fret on the A, pull off an open string, the A string, and 3rd fret on the E and open E string. Alright, so far with this. Next part, slap the 5th fret on the D string, kind of like give it harmonic, and the 3rd fret on the D, and then you play the open A string, hammer on, pull off on the 3rd fret, and then 5th fret on the E string, pick it, hammer on, and pull off on the 3rd fret. I'm sorry, pull off the 3rd fret, hammer back on the 5th fret. All right, so the whole thing goes like this from the top. Okay, and then go back to the beginning again. The next part, you start exactly the same way I just showed you. The very end goes like this. So it's a little different. The ending, you play the 3rd fret on the A string, hammer on the 5th fret, pull off on the 3rd fret, and pull off on the open string. 5th fret on the E, 3rd fret on the A, and then 7th fret on the E, 3rd fret on the E. So the second part, the second section goes like this. Now, if you play the whole thing faster, it sounds really good. It sounds like this. So you keep repeating that shovel riff I just showed you several times. But right before the singing starts, there's an ending to it that's slightly different than what I showed you so far. So the ending section goes like this. I'm playing for you one time. So that's a little different right there. So the first measure is the same as so far. After this is where you're different. You play open E string, 3rd fret on the E, and open E string, and then dead stop after that. And then open A string, and then play the C power chord and the D power. So you do it fast. You go open A string, down, and up stroke on the C power chord, and then down on the D power chord. So down, up, down. And you do that twice. Second time, repeat again. And then you'll play open E string, and then 3rd fret on the E, and then open E and A string together. So that's the ending of that intro riff into the verse riff. So again, that last part goes like this. Now, wishes into our verse riff goes like once you play the open E and A string, so you gotta go like this. You still got a shuffle feel to it. So you go down, up on the E and A string, and you down quickly on the 3rd fret on the E and A together, and the upward upstroke on open E and A string again, and down on the 5th fret of E and A, upstroke on open E and A, and then down on the 3rd fret again on the E and A, and open upstroke on E and A. Slowly again. And do it again. Now the next part is a little different. After you play that, you gotta go so down on the E string quickly, you go upward on the it's like a power chord, but it's not really a power chord because your string is lower on the drop D on C sharp. So basically you play 9th fret on the E and the 11th fret on the A string. So you go upstroke on that, and you down on the E10 and A12. So you gotta go back to the same thing again. So that, so 9, 10, 9, 10. So the whole thing goes like this. In the verse, the next section, you'll repeat the verse riff. I'll just show you again one more, a couple of times. So it goes like this. The next time's a little different. It goes like this. So you gotta add the little 3rd fret on the A and 5th fret on the A string. What I do is I go mute down and then upward on the 3rd fret and then down on the 5th fret. And you do the same thing again. So that was the next part. You go open E string 3rd fret on the E, and then you back to this. So the whole thing slowly again. So we do that thing again, but this time you do it twice. Okay? And the next part goes like. Alright, so what I'm doing is I kind of mute on the down and up on the chord. So mute down, up stroke on the chord. It's kind of like a power chord. So you got E10, A12, down half step chromatically to 9th fret on the E, 11 on the A, and again E10 and 10 on the A. And one more time you go E7 and A9. So far we get. You play A chord. The next part goes like this. So you play the A chord, and then you play the third fret on the A, hammer on the 4th fret and pull off to the 3rd and open string, and then A chord again, and then mute, and then A chord again, and the 3rd and 4th fret on the A string, and the A chord again, and a B chord, which is B power chord, and C power chord. So the whole thing slowly play for you one time again. One more time. Now the little next part is kind of like more rhythmic. So go. So you go down, up, down on the C chord again. And quickly you gotta play upward on the you gotta move your hands up. So you basically play the 6th fret on the B and 7th fret on the G string. See how it goes? And sometimes people, you can hear him does like, I'm just doing one time. And then 5th fret again on the, and 5th fret again on G and B string again. And then move your index finger down, 5th fret on the D and G, 7th fret on D and G, and 5th fret on the D and G. So that whole one piece right there goes like this. Or if you want to play this part twice, you gotta go like this. Okay. So you can do it either way, it's fine. So the whole thing slowly goes like this from the top. I'll just show you. So when I do the 5th fret, 7th fret, back to 5th fret, I go down, up, down. And then you play the A chord again. So this time you goes, you play the A chord and 3rd fret on the A string, A chord again, and the 5th and 4th fret on the G string, bend up, release, pull off, 2nd fret, and then 4th fret on the D. And A chord again. You gotta do it again. You go after you play the 3rd fret on the A and the A chord again. Mute and the B chord, C. So far, let's go through this. What we have so far. So that part again. So quickly do 2nd fret on the B string, on 2nd fret on the B chord, and quickly do 3rd fret on the C chord. Again. So see how it goes. And quickly go A chord and B and C chord. You gotta go down, up, down again on the C, and then move up to D chord. Down, up, down. And then E chord. So there's a little more arithmetic right there. So when you get to the E chord at the 7th position, the power chord, you go. So what I'm doing is I go down, up on the E chord, and then down, up again on the E chord, and then mute down, up. So and then again, so down, up, unmute, and then down, up, mute, and then down one more time, just one time, and then just upward, mute. So the whole thing like the pattern goes like this. And then you go play this part here. And basically use your index finger on the 9th fret on the B string, bend up, and release down, and you play the 11th fret on the G, and then 8th fret on the B string with your index finger, 9th fret on the B string, and 9th fret on the G, 11th fret on the D, and then 11 and 9 on the G, 11 and 9 on the D. And then 12th fret on the B string, bend up. So far with this. So yeah, so that's the pre-chorus, and then we'll go to chorus riff after that. Alright, so now we get to the chorus riffs. Let me show you, I'm going to go from what I just showed you and go into the chorus riff so you can hear what it sounds like. Alright, so what I'm doing is I play the A chord, downs, and upwork on the 3rd fret on the A, and down again on the A. And then you gotta play a 3rd fret on the B string, upstroke, so you can hear the note, and then down, muting, the G string, and then upstroke again on the 5th fret on the B, down, mute. Back to the 3rd fret on the B, upstroke, down, mute, and then 2nd fret on the B string with index fingers already on it, up, mute, and then 4th fret on the G string, mute, and then 2nd fret on the G, and you play this G chord at the last. And the G chord is downstroke, so you'll be playing E3, and you mute the A string with your middle finger, the flash of your middle finger, and open D and G string together. So the whole thing slowly goes like this. One more time. Next part, you play the 2nd fret on the A string, and the 3rd fret on the A string, down, up, and then down on the C2 chord. The C2 chord, what I'm doing is I play the 3rd fret on the A, muting the D string with my index finger, and play open G string and 3rd fret on the B string. Next part. Got a little shovel again. So we go 5th fret on the A string twice. 2nd fret on the A twice. And open A string and the 4th fret on the E string. And then open E string twice. And then one time on the 4th fret on the E string. And 5th fret on the D, on the A string. So the whole lick was like this. Okay. Slowly the whole thing. Repeat the whole thing again. Next part is a little different, it goes like this. And it goes back to the riff again. So the last riff goes like this. Starts off from the open D string. And then 4th fret on the D. Remember the shovel. Not like. Go. So it goes open D, 4th fret on the D, open G string, 1st fret on the G, 2nd fret on the G, and back to 2nd fret on the G twice, and then open G again. And you play the 4th fret on the D string the last time. So slowly it goes like this. And you go back to that one riff again. Now the second time you play this after you finish playing that, instead of let it rain out, you play the 6th fret on the B string. And then you do it again. And that part is the same as we show you in the verse. And after that, you do the same thing again. And this part is a little different. It goes like this. So what I'm doing is I play the 10th fret on the D, 12th fret on the D string, pull off on 10th fret, and then mute, and then 11 and 12th fret on the G. You do the same thing again, and this time you play 10 and 11 fret on the G. You do the same thing again, and then 11 and 12 again on the G. So the whole thing goes like this. Okay, so after the blues riff, that's a tapping part coming up. I'll play for you one time. We're gonna little slightly slower speed, and we'll break it down. It goes like this. Alright, so that tapping part right there, after first you gotta play that. We put the open E string and 7th fret on the E and the 12th fret on the E. They do the same thing on the A string. Good. So open A, 7th fret and 12th fret on the A. And do the same thing on the D string, open D, 7 and 12 on the D. It ends on the 12th fret, and that's where you start playing the tapping. So what I'm doing is I play the 19th fret on the D string. You tab it, pull off the 12th fret. Do that again, 19th fret, tab, pull off on 12th fret, pull off on 7th fret, open, back to 7 and 12. You do the same pattern again, so we do the 17th fret now on the D string. And then 16th fret. The left hand doesn't move. Basically, you go from 19, you're descending on your tapping hand, 19, 17, 16 to 14th fret. And then finish on the 14th fret. So far with this. And then 19th fret on the A string, do the same thing just like I show you in the same pattern. 17th fret, and then actually 16th fret twice, and then back to 19th fret one time. 7th fret, 12th on the A, and then we'll go to the G string now on the 19th fret on the G string. Same pattern. 17th fret, and then play 16th fret on the G, pull off on 12th fret. That's the end of it, and you go, and you play that little thing here in the 9th fret, the 10th fret, just like I showed you earlier. So the whole tapping part slowly goes like this. And then it goes to that same thing I show you in the pre-chorus part. So that's pretty much the whole song except the solo, which we won't cover. But the rhythm is really cool for this song. So thanks for watching.